Let us know down below whatever it is that you want to start, and let us know the end goal that you want to achieve so that we can pray for you, congratulate you, and cheer you on as you pursue it. So, what's up, beautiful people, to another episode of Conversations with Christian. And it's me, Ricky Jones Jr. We also have a new cover in the building. And we are so excited to have you with us here today, which this conversation is going to be so beneficial for you, which is why I am at an all-time high of excitement, because this here conversation is going to help you out of the drudgery, out of the muck, out of the place in which you're like, God help me. I want to get out of this place because there is more within me that I want to pursue, more within me that I want to do. However, I don't have the words. I don't think I have the plan. I don't think I have the capability, but I know there's more in store, but I know I need more money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? It's like so many reasons why more is the desire. However, there could be that many more reasons why you're saying no. But this conversation today is going to break, eradicate, and annihilate. I like it. That thing happened just then.
I see.
I was going to try to do it again. Just replay it, because this conversation is going to eliminate, that by giving you the tools and the capabilities to succeed, okay? And so here we are today. This conversation is all about starting with the end in mind.
Yes.
Because if you don't start with the end in mind, you could find yourself at a loss, or quitting, or stopping the things in which you desire to do. So I'm going to just start it off, Boom. That was the intro. Yeah. But this conversation didn't come out of the blue, It came from you talking about when you were pursuing an endeavor to start your master's program. You started with the end in mind. And why would you say it was also beneficial for you to have that mindset?
I would say, it's beneficial to have the mindset because along the way, whether we're talking about, masters or just in life in general, bumps and hurdles will occur. If you don't start a thing with the end goal in mind, when those challenges come up, might be something major, might be a little challenge, you know what, it's raining today, so I'm just not going to go to class, and I'm just not going to do this. Or, I really want to, make $50,000 this month. I'm totally making this up. But I got to do what? I got to cold call. I got to call people to find out and try to sell this product. Well, you know what? I don't even like talking to people anyway. Then you start making up excuses for why you don't want to or can't do the thing that you originally said that you wanted to do, So, again, maybe you said those things, or God is speaking to you and is revealing these things to you, and you start to now create excuses, start to create whatever, a little challenge happens. Next thing you know, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever you mapped out, or because maybe you didn't think about the end goal, or maybe you wanted what was the end, but then didn't think about the steps also necessary to reach that end, Then once challenges kind of things start to occur, that's when you, in my opinion, you start to give up or give in and say, this is too much, because, you didn't think it through all the way. I'll say it like that.
And even to that point, my reason why I love that thought and the perspective, because it keeps us from doing anything haphazardly, In other words, just jumping out and doing things on a limb off of feeling, off of what's hot in these streets, or what seems like it's like a get rich quick scheme, or get rich quick idea. I'm going to call it a scheme. It'll keep, if that's something that you want to pursue, Not saying, any of those things are a quote-unquote bad thing, but if you have the end in mind when you start, it'll make sure, to your point, it'll allow for you to overcome those situations, those failures that are going to come, or those opportunities where it seemed like, man, I want to quit. Well, no, if it's starting a business and your end goal is to be able to make $15,000 a month with the ability to do it full time, and your kids can start going to better schools, do extracurricular activities. You can move into a bigger home. You can have the cars in which you desire to have. Like, if you start your endeavor with that in mind, it'll allow for you to get over the cold calling, right? If cold calling is what it takes to bump from $0 to $10,000, I need to do it. Why? Because I know my goal of $15,000. So this $10,000 is a lot closer to 15 than 0. So let me pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? You'll do what it takes. If it says, okay, if you make 100 calls, you're guaranteed $10,000. Well, let me make 200 calls.
In addition to that, not just knowing if I make 200 calls, I'll get 10,000, but knowing too, okay, if I make 200 calls, of the 200, I'm not going to get 200 yeses.
You're not.
You need to know. I know I will get, I don't know what the breakdown percentage or whatever it might be, but for every...
Let's say it's 10%.
Yeah, for every 90 no's I'll get 10 yeses. Or for every 9 no's, I get 1 yes. But the 1 yes might be the yes that I need in order to get, 2,000 and then 4,000, so on and so forth. But just knowing also. But go ahead and continue.
I mean, because starting with the end in mind is so beautiful, and it keeps you focused, right? I think one of the benefits, if we was to try to name them, but anyway, one of the benefits of starting with the end in mind is it keeps you focused. It keeps you focused on your ultimate goal, your ultimate destination, your ultimate point of success, right? When you talk about success stories, which, I personally believe, right? You can chime in if you want. I believe that a person is successful when they set a goal and they reach their goal, but even before they reach their goal, they're taking the necessary steps to achieve their goals, right? I believe that person is successful each and every step it takes for them to achieve what they set forth to achieve. Like, it's not a dollar amount that will allow for success unless that's what you set. And I say that this way because I also believe that success is a measure that each person sets for themselves, right? I could say LeBron is successful because he has 3 rings, which he may be like, no, that's not success for me, right?
I thought does he have 3 or 4? That's a whole nother thing.
I don't even know.
But
4 rings, right? If he has 4 rings, I could say he's successful. He could look back at me and say, no, I'm not. My goal is 10. Whoa.
Well.
My gosh. Like, you're Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that is true.
That's cool. Because everybody, you know what I'm saying? I said it to say, don't allow for outside people to determine what success is for you, because then you'll be chasing things that you may not ultimately want to do, which could stress you out. But with that end in mind, ladies and gentlemen, it will keep you focused and locked in on what you want to do for yourself, because ultimately that is what will keep you driven. It'll keep you motivated. It'll keep you enthusiastic. It won't allow for you to be burnt out or frustrated when things come, because things will come, right? And I think even while we were talking, you had even talked about different things that I pursued, and was like, because I tie in.
No, we could jump into that in a moment, but something that you said a moment ago that I want to forget that I love is the fact that success is not necessarily measured the same way for all of us, right? What you might be considering, as success to you, to me and so on, it could be the same situation, but being viewed differently, right? As you're talking, I was thinking from like a marketing or advertising, whatever standpoint, where at times it's not always about conversion, right? It's not always about getting a sale. It's not always, I can have a marketing campaign where success for me might be the engagement or something. Meaning, like, if I put something on social media, it might be, okay, I want likes and shares and views and so on. Those aren't necessarily like a monetary gain, but the success to say, okay, I want X number of views, X number of likes or whatever to continue to keep my product out there, right? Or maybe you just want someone to sign up for a newsletter, right? Maybe you're starting a business and you want to get the word out. Well, one of the way that you can get the word out, I guess, regarding it would be sharing your website, increasing traffic to the site. So that can be a potential way to measure success where, okay, you didn't sell a product that week, but I was able to get 5,000 or 10,000 people to visit my page, knowing that, hey, one of those views or, site visits, whatever, will ultimately end up in some sort of sale, right? Or, creating those different ways. And I could talk about this, all day, but just you saying that, it really got me thinking like, yeah, it's true, and also same thing, the LeBron example that you gave, we can look at the person or look at the thing and say, wow, you are very successful in what you're doing. But then to them, it might feel like, nah, that's not enough. That's absolutely nothing or whatever. Or even with us, I remember a couple months ago, I was having a conversation I was at my mother-in-law's house, and we're talking to or about someone. And in this particular case, like, I have my, my bachelor's and master's and whatever else. And I know people with like PhDs and whatever else, but someone could potentially have just their high school degree. Someone might have dropped out of high school, but they're successful more so than you and I are, because, and again, different levels of success. Maybe success could be they have way more money saved up than us, right? They don't have the, higher education type degrees that we might potentially have, or might not even have the same job, but they made wise choices early on in life and were able to save money to where now, even though they're not getting paid a lot at the moment, but because of the wise choices they made early on, they're able to do, and then you can, like where it's their level of kind of like success where, you know what I'm saying? Like where, again, it might be completely different than our scenario, but again, whatever success is for you or looks like, I mean, it might be something completely different for me.
Right, you're in.
But yeah, but what Ricky was leading to earlier, we were talking about, starting the thing with the end goal in mind, right? But again, not everything happens along the way, right? Something Pastor Pro used to say is, I'm not going to get it right, exactly the way he used to say, but just the fact that people might see the end product, but don't know the blueprint, basically. Yes. It's good to know the blueprint, the things that are necessary in order for you to achieve that goal. But anyway, but with you, though, we had talked about potentially what should people do if and when things don't go as planned, and if you were to share maybe some of your examples of endeavors that you started, right? And maybe you started originally with an idea, with a goal. Maybe it was going in the way that, God originally intended, but then something along the way happened where it now either at a standstill or whatever. What should people do in that case? Should they give up on their dream or give up? What should they do, with making the necessary adjustments?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's good because I can think of even 2 businesses that we've launched, my wife and myself, that we're not actively pursuing, right? And that could be Attached, which is a clothing brand. Long story short, it was a clothing brand with the idea of bridging the gap between people with experience in an endeavor and people that were new to that thing, right? So essentially, if it was in this space, it would be that we were like, oh man, like, yeah, we're about and know what Attach is all about. Well, us being like new podcasters, right, would connect with somebody that's been doing it for a while, and we were able to like share information, right? That was the whole idea behind Attached. And so I started it, and I started like reaching out to people. Hey, would you be interested in this? Whoop. And then other stuff started happening, right? Chris and I was like, oh man, we got a deal for another thing. Like, the thing about Chris and I is we always have ideas about a thing. Like, even right now, probably sitting on about 5 different ideas as far as like businesses or even inventions, right? And so to your question, I did write out like what my plan was for it, who was the target audience, right? Like a skeleton of a business plan, because essentially a business plan is a way to start with the end in mind, right? And it'll kind of give you like 3 to 5 years worth of like work to do with an end of that, right? And so, if somebody's like, oh, don't start your business without a business plan, that's the reason why. However, there are plenty of businesses that have started and are successful in their measure without a business plan. So don't feel like if you don't have one, you can't do. But nonetheless, going back to myself, to your question, like, no, I don't think that if you started a course and you did not complete that path, that you're not successful or you should quit. I know for me with Attach, it's something that I started because I didn't want to like lose it, right? And I say that because oftentimes, like I said, we have a lot of things, but I know for Crystal and I, one of the main things is like doing it. Because even if you do it and you stop doing it, it's still going to be there. It's like that, I don't call it a baby, but it's like that, long lost family member that you came in contact with, and is there because you all had good times together, but distance has come between you two that you don't see each other, and you're not having those good times that you had before, but you know, one day you'll get back together. So I say all that to say, one day, I said family member, I don't know, you're thinking like...
I'm thinking about love or something.
I can tell. Yeah. I can see it. You were like...
It's a distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Huh. I see where I saw where you went. You went into the abyss. So let me pull you back into the current. Jessica. But I see it that way. Like, though attachment is not something that I'm actively doing, I always talk about it to Chris. I'm like, hey, babe, like, this would be a cool way to, like, redo attach. I've seen attach, like, has a nonprofit. I've seen different ways it could be integrated and not even be called attached, but just doing a thing in a certain way. And so I said it to say, like, even when you're starting out, like you're initially launching with the end in mind, like I knew what I wanted attached to do and I shifted, I changed, I started doing something else. I say that to say, like, put it to the side. Yeah. Don't kill it, right? Yeah. Don't do that. Treat your endeavors, treat your business ideas, your inventions and things like that like a family member, right? Like, just let it go. Yeah. Do what you're doing. Something that you're doing right now may be more successful or more beneficial to you in the present. Do that, but then don't lose what you started, right? It'll find its way back. If it's something that came out of you, right? Attach came out of me, right? Through conversations with God. And I say it that way because if it's just something that you're pursuing because it's like the hot thing, all right, cool. Things gonna be the hot thing and it's just gonna cycle through. Just like my hands going from left to right, things gonna come and things gonna go. So don't hold on to things that's like coming and going, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it works. That was a thing that came and went. You know, multi-level marketing, essentially. Those things come and go, right? Some things stick, some things don't, but those things come and go. But if it came from you and you're no longer doing it, don't let it go, right? And I even model that thought pattern off of God. Why? Because God started things with the end in mind, right? As we love the conversation between God and Jeremiah, God let Jeremiah know, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. I had a plan for you. I ordained you, and the list goes on for the things that Jeremiah would ultimately do and that he's in the world now. So God let us know there that he started life, right? He started Jeremiah's life, but he started O'Neill's life. He started Ricky's life. He started your life. You fill in the blank with your name with the end in mind. He knew what you would do before you were. He knew what you would complete and the things that you would accomplish before your parents came together to create you, right? And so I'm modeling that with this overall thought of starting with the end in mind because God did it, right? And if you can look at God as the ultimate source, the creator of all, the one that knows all and can do all, and you're like, oh man, you did it that way, so surely I should do it that way,
bro. It's funny that you mentioned, because Jeremiah 29:11 is one of my favorite verses, and I'm thinking, like, if God has a plan, what? Who are you to not have a plan? To not have a plan, right?
From the beginning to the end. I mean, and that's the way for creation. Like, if you... Oh, that's good. That's good. If you're creating anything, you should create that thing with the end in mind, right? Give me an example, Ricky. If you're a potter, right? If you're creating pots, you know the type of pot that you want to create before you start creating the pot.
When you said if you're a potter, I was thinking something else. But but go ahead. Continue.
Potter, is that not it?
No, continue. Okay. Continue. I was thinking a different kind of pot. But go ahead, though.
Okay. If you're creating pots, you know the type of pot that you want to create. He's in the abyss, guys. I lost him. He never came back. Y'all let me know when he comes back. But you know what type of pot that you want to create before you start creating it, because it's going to depict the type of grooves that you have, how much pressure you put on it. If you want it thicker, if you want it, thin, or if you want it tall, or if you want it short, right? You have to go in with that in mind. Or if you're an artist, right? You're painting on a canvas, you have to have the end in mind, because you can't have random strokes on your masterpiece.
Then make the decision. No. I'm gonna make this.
You have to
let me start, and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna do.
Boom. Or if you're an athlete, you have to start the athletic journey from the beginning with the end in mind, right? People that are in the NFL don't just wake up and find themselves in the NFL. That started back when they were 5, 6, 7 years old with their parents back at home when they made the decision that football was the choice for me. They started eating right, doing right, working out, going to summer camps, and the list goes on. They started with the end in mind. And that's to your point, if God did it as well, so should you. When you're starting your business, when you're desiring to be in business, like within your first year, you start that thing with the end in mind. If you need to get customers, right? Start thinking about ways to get the customers before the need for the customers come. Right? Before you go out and do your LLC and things like that and start putting responsibility on yourself, think through what it's going to take to get that money back. Right? Don't just go out and buy a bunch of stuff and say, oh, I got a business now and watch this business grow.
More to it.
You're going to look at yourself like, oh, snap. This is my business and I'm the customer. And maybe your parents, you know what I'm saying? Maybe your brother and your sister because they love you. But outside of that, where does it go? But if you have that end in mind, man, how much further will you be? Like, what would you say are some elements or ingredients that are necessary for having an end in mind type of plan?
To have an end in mind type of plan.
What are some things in there that you're like, okay, boom, that's a good checkpoint. Boom, that's a good thing. Boom, that's necessary. Right?
I would say, to have, like you kind of said, so to have the in mind, right? It's knowing potentially everything that goes into it. I'll use the NFL experience, right, that you mentioned. So some weeks back or some months back, I did a thing with through my job with kids where, what is it that you want to do later in life? And some of them wrote, NFL player, basketball star, and so on and so forth. But in addition to that, what were the things that, the steps you needed to take in order to get there? And a couple episodes back, we had talked about having a journal, right? A journal so you can write things down, to keep track of maybe your, nutrition, whatever, what is it that I need to make sure that I eat, I intake in my body, right? As far as to keep me going, in addition to that, exercises and so on and so forth, right? So that's that, if it's in life, right? We need to have a plan and know, what we stand for, who we are, and so on, and maybe Bible scripture to stand on, right? To know, have that included as part of your plan to help encourage and build yourself up and know what to do if and when the challenges happen, right? I'll say something else too with having the end goal in mind is identifying early who can help you to reach that, the goal, right? Making sure that you have people in your life and maybe, again, create a list and have, in order to achieve this, who do I know can do what? I'll put Ricky's name down. I'll do this and this, and then know that based on the area that I know that person can help me, to strengthen me and to help me to reach that goal, then I can then speak to them about those elements and not hold things in myself. One of the things too, kind of connected but not directly, is with while talking to the kids, the church, teaching them and so on and so forth. We had talked about Ephesians 5:20, which in a sense says to be thankful and to thank God in every situation, right? So it's always good for us to think about and include as part of, when challenges happen, right, in all situations, in the good and in the bad, right, to also, I would say, as we have the end goal in mind, think about the challenges that might potentially come and create a plan early on how you would tackle those. Now, of course, we can't foresee everything that's going to happen, but based on whatever it is that we're trying to achieve, we can think ahead and think of, if I'm trying to, let's use the grow a business and cold calls, situation or whatever. I want to make $10,000, by the end of this month. I now know I need to call 200 people. Have a plan. For the no's that I receive, have rebuttals, right? Find a script of some sort that has rebuttals. If someone says no, I can't because of I don't have, the financial means. Then there's a rebuttal for, make payment plans or whatever. I don't know. I'm totally making this up. But, know that when, the fact that if you're trying to go straight path, but it's going to end up going up and down a little bit. Okay, if this occurs, what are the things that potentially I can have planned early on? Also, something else too, when you're doing a thing with the end goal in mind, it's good to remember what other scenarios in my life, things that maybe occurred that aren't directly like similar 100%, but ways that I can learn from a previous experience to go ahead and add to what I'm currently dealing with at that moment. You know what I mean? Or, you know, takeaways from different situations that can be applied in order for, you know, us to, or for me to continue down that path to reach, you know, whatever the end goal might be. So identifying the different steps and creating plans, miniature plans within your plan on how you would tackle the various situations that might potentially, you know, pop up along the way. So
and I would even say too, like what we even talked about before, is to make sure you have your reason, your why, or your desired outcome at the end of it as well. Know that, but then more, I didn't say I said at the end, but really that's at your front, because that is what's going to be that reminding necessity, or that reminding agent that will keep you going each and every day. Like, you know, it could be that you want financial freedom, you want to be able to work from home, you want to be able to, the list goes on, right? Have a new home, have a new car. I don't know, you know your things. Get out of debt. It could be those things, right? But let that be the source in the beginning, that you remind yourself of why you're doing this, why you're pursuing this, why you're going to continue to do this, why and did I start it, and why do I keep doing this, right? What is that end goal? Because that is what's going to keep you going, keep you motivated, and keep you driven to ultimately achieve that which you say. Because we even talked about before in other podcasts as well, is that you have what you say. So if you say what you want and you continuously keep that before you, you'll ultimately walk in the thing in which you already said. And so the other parts, those things that even O'Neal talked about, those other parts are going to be those things that allow for you to have that thing, that goal, that dream, that desire that you've been vocalizing daily. But those things are necessary, right? So do both parts, because that will allow for you to achieve that thing that you have before you, right? So even to Jeremiah 29:11, God said what he said, right? However, there was a person involved, just like us. We say what we say. There are other people involved with the things in which we desire to achieve and do. And so we have to not only keep it before us, but also even vocalizing it, right? And I think even when God said it to Jeremiah, God empowered Jeremiah that, no, bro, you have the ability to do that which I put in you to do. Just like as you speak that thing over your endeavor, speak that thing over why you're pursuing what you're doing, you're giving life and power to it to be able to accomplish what you're desiring for it to accomplish. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can do it. You want to do it. You will do it.
I love it. I love it. And also,
go ahead.
Like Ricky was mentioning about his experience too, don't give up on a thing.
Don't give up.
Some ideas might be ahead of their time, right?
I like that.
So some things that maybe you started and you thought like, okay, well, it's not going the way, okay, this was a bad idea. No, it wasn't a bad idea. It was an idea that was early, or than it maybe needed to have been to revisit, right? Maybe 6 months from now or a year from now, you might revisit the thing, and you already have, like Ricky said, right? You start, it's like that long distance relative, not relationship, but that you know is there, that you can always go back to in a sense, right? And I think it's easy to say something, right? But it can be challenging to sustain the thing, but that doesn't mean that you have to give up, right? It doesn't mean that you have to let it go completely and say, okay, I messed up. Visit a thing, 5 years from now. I wish I had some examples, but I'm sure in history there are things that, were created, or, even artists, like these, art pieces that are worth $1 million+ now. Mona Lisa was probably worth absolutely nothing when it was originally created. And they're like, what is this? But now, look at, it's like millions of dollars or whatever.
People flocked to, I know I did. And you did too.
Yeah, we went
to Paris to even see it.
Yeah, I was like, this is the Mona Lisa.
That thing was so small.
So small. Yeah, when I went there, I was like,
see it for yourself.
Yeah.
But I was so disappointed.
I will say I was too, but we're not talking about that right now. But yeah, but it's like, yeah, when I saw
Start with the end in mind.
I was like, this is it? This is the Mona Lisa? This is what people go crazy over? But yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, it was certain things are created that are ahead of their time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe your idea might just be ahead of its time.
Boom. So end it all with it all. Start with the end in mind. Let us know down below whatever it is that you want to start, and let us know the end goal that you want to achieve so that we can pray for you, congratulate you, and cheer you on as you pursue it. So until next time, great people, we love you all. Till next time. Peace.